Like all the great ones before, all the elements are there, but nowadays it's a less urgent, more detached by technology version of the whole thing. The hedonism is still there, the aimlessness, the parade of people from all over, all milling about with no plan but to drink it up and try to keep the dream going as long as possible while not really knowing it's a dream. That is the youthful version of it. It's a young man's game. Those who keep going turn into the Henrys of the world. Those detached souls who decided to ride beauty down to the bottom of the ocean. The other riders who marry in, go legit, and live out some sort of My Life in Tuscany romanticized travel memoir version of the whole thing. This is usually the female route. The sinking ship of beauty is usually the male version of it. In any case, it's a ripe time and a ripe experience. That is why you get addicted, and that is why all of us expats have such a ridiculously hard time reintegrating if we ever can. We got used to a life of minute-by-minute possibility. Adventure can pop up at 80 different times during the day. Even if it is not true possibility or adventure, it feels like it, which is all that really matters. I mean, how many times did you go to a party with an entire new batch of faces, an entire new set of sexual possibilities and routes into the future? You pop in, the radio is blaring some shit off Radio Nova, and you're drinking whatever from one of the 12 bottles on a messy table. You look over and see some shy and stunning blonde girl. You learn that she's Norwegian, and their name is Sophie. A beautiful but strange combination you've become used to. This situation in Paris, on the expat trail, pulses with actual self-expression, not the cheap, meaty American version of this situation. You imagine having sex with her, but not in that vacant American way of thinking about it. This might lead to making love somewhere in Norway. She's probably studying something interesting. She's not the chick in a bar with a job and no real interest of any kind. The shy Norwegian girl with the French sex kit name has a look on her face that is the visible top of the proverbial iceberg of conversation topics. She is far away from home, so are you. You both came here, which means you automatically share a certain psychological structure that would be near impossible to find back home, where everyone is deluded that they have something in common because they just happen to exist in the same town together and go to the same grocery store. No, this is different. You haven't even met her and you already know you have more in common. You know you're compatible in some deep way just by nature of the faraway situation you both find yourself in. Being an expat is like a pre-screening. All the people you meet are seekers, those looking to drink a more exotic and rare vintage, and are willing to burn the bridges behind them to go a little further. Sacrifice is part of the makeup. It is letting go of the dock and trusting, hoping that those resources will be out there. This is why most people can never do it. They just can't let go of the dock, of the steady supply of cheap things that will reassure them of who they are. The expat is the explorer, the psychonaut, if you will. Whereas the explorers of mountains have rivers, streams, rocks, and peaks, the expat has bedrooms, bars, bottles, breasts, and river caves at dawn. Both are seeking some kind of meaning, but the expat takes place in the land of the living, the swirl of burning to be alive. But that at times ends in the ash-smelling, sticky floor, wine-stained morning, because this foreign land of experience for you is the everyday home you left behind to everyone else around you. In the end, you're an outsider, the same as you were back home. And herein rests the crux of being an expat. You don't belong anywhere. You left because you felt like an outsider at home, and you'll feel the same way if you go back. But when the euphoria dies down, you're an outsider here too, and eventually the circus dies down. Sophie disappears back to Norway to continue her studies, and probably not come back to Paris. Everyone starts to disappear. Everyone starts to get on with their lives, and you are stuck with the choice to hold on and let go. The problem is, letting go feels like giving up, and that is not something you want to do. You came here in search of something, and though you found it many times over, it burned off with the morning sun. You could never really hold on to it. You want to go legit, you want to live it every day, but therein lies the core of the problem. You're allergic to going legit. You fooled yourself into thinking that you were allergic to home, to your culture, and so you ran away to find another one. But you finally realized that you were allergic to belonging. You're allergic to there not being a bright new horizon around every corner. You're the optimistic dreamer who can't settle anywhere. Going legit and settling into this new culture is some deluded reason you gave up and leaving before. Some justification for your choices and for the critics of your lifestyle. Do you ride the beauty ship down, or do you admit that you were wrong about the whole thing? Both are a kind of death. Neither you want to do. You feel stuck, the opposite of what this whole thing was about. It wasn't about feeling trapped, it was about feeling liberated. Now you're stuck. You're broke financially, emotionally, and socially. The reserves that you always trusted were coming at some point to pay for you for your sacrifices, pay you for your dedication to the lifestyle, and pay you for your allegiance to the ideal, they haven't shown up. You realize that they don't exist. Your dedication to the moment has severed you from the past and left your future blank. Everyone else moved on. They got out, and now you're standing alone with a broken and split identity, faced with what is in your pockets and your next move, which seems like a double loss. You closed out the party, and now you're alone.